floppy wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener.
Oh, I think I do love this.
Do you remember that Game of Thrones?
I remember you singing it.
Floppy wiener,
Oh
floppy
God,
wiener.
you nearly had coffee all over you then.
It was from the South Park one.
I was
wasn't
like,
it?
oh, South Park, that was it, yeah.
There you go.
I do love South Park.
You haven't got a floppy wiener anymore.
Thank you for sorting out my floppy wiener. I'll sort out yours later. Oh, this brings out my naughty side. Hello, beauties. Welcome back to the Jolie Beauty channel. Today, as you can see, my name is Cruella. Okay, that's enough of that. That's all I can do with the accent. But thank you for joining me today. Obviously, we are doing the Cruella tutorial using the Sorceress palette. Ooh. So the palette has absolutely everything you need for this look. When I saw her makeup in the film, it actually really reminded me of this section of the palette. So I was really excited to do that this year. Absolutely adore the Cruella film and I really wanted to recreate it. So that's what we've done today. Just before we begin, if this video gets to 100 likes, my husband Saul has agreed that he will dress up as a Dalmatian on Halloween and I'm going to be putting a collar and lead on him. So if that sounds fun to you, make sure you hit the video with a thumbs up. But without further ado, let's get our Cruella on. Can we just take a moment for the nails as well? Sickening, darling. Fabulous, darling. Or do I sound more like Joanna Lumley? I'm just not quite sure. There's quite a few different makeup looks in the new Cruella film. I'm just going to pop my reference photo here so you can see which one I'm going for. To be honest, all the looks are quite similar. They just vary with the intensity. This one's kind of in the middle, not too dark, not too light, and it's got that classic red lip. And isn't this a film just so many goals? Like, it's like fashion goals, makeup goals, music goals. It's got the best soundtrack I've heard in absolutely ages in any film. I absolutely loved it. Did you? One of the reasons I wanted to do this particular look is I thought it was so nice that with the Cruella, they didn't really go for like white face paint. They just enhanced Emma Stone's naturally pale skin. So I'm going to do the same. So first of all, I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury foundation. This is the Airbrush Flawless foundation in the shade 5.5. And I'm just going to mix in a tiny bit of my Second Skin concealer. This is in a really pale shade. This is in the shade 2. And I'm just going to take that all over my face with a buffing brush. As you can see, this is a bit light for me, but it's going to really help me emulate that kind of pale look that Emma has in the film. By the way, just quick interval, look at this mirror. How cool is this? So when we were scouting for props for the vampirism shoot, we found this mirror set, like this vintage. It's a mirror and it came with like a brush as well, and I just thought it was so cool. It's really, really heavy and very vintage, so I thought it was super cute. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love going around like secondhand shops and charity shops. Like, you always find some of the best things in there. Make sure to take the product all the way down your neck and everywhere that your skin is going to be visible in your costume. Next up, I'm going to take the same concealer in the shade 2 again, and I'm going to conceal under my eyes. I'm using quite a lot of concealer, more than I normally would on a daily look. Obviously, this is more of a costume makeup, so I'm going a lot more heavy-handed than I normally would. This is going to help make the skin appear a little bit paler as well. I'm just adding that on my chin, on my forehead, and just a little bit underneath my cheekbones as well, just to help sculpt the face. Emma Stone has the sharpest cheeks, so I'm trying to emulate that with a little bit of makeup. And then I'm just taking, oh, not that, purple on it. I'm doing my clean kit, but it was not clean. Turning into a, what's that one out of Willy Wonka that turns purple? Junior? Is that right? There we go, all fixed. Who is the one that turns purple in the factory? Petunia? I know it's like a bratty name. No offence if it's your name. Tell me what name it is in the comment section below, because I cannot remember for the life of me at the minute. So then I'm taking a clean brush and I'm just going to buff that in to the skin. Also taking this just on the top of the eyes as well, just to blank out any discoloration here. So not long to go till Halloween. Hope everybody's got their outfit ideas ready. You decided what you're going to dress up as? I'm still undecided. I might do this and do Cruella, or I was thinking about doing Lulu maybe from Fifth Element. I've always wanted to do that costume. The funny thing is I've given Saul, my husband, the option that he can either dress up as a Dalmatian or dress up as Bruce Willis and bleach his hair. So what's he gonna pick? I don't know. What do you think he should pick? Let me know. I think either would be quite funny, to be honest. I do think dragging him around on the lead for a night might be quite fun for me. To set my face and my neck, I am going to take some powder. I'm just using my RCMA powder. This is the No Colour powder, and it's so good for costume makeup or any effects makeup. I love using this on my Halloween looks, setting face paint, etc. It is a bit messy, so I like to put it in a little bowl like this. Just makes it easier to control how much you've got on your brush as well. And I'm going to put quite a heavy amount underneath the eye. This is so when I do my eyeshadow next, I can just dust away any fallout that I might get. And then just lightly setting the rest of my face. Just because obviously if the foundation starts to move, you're going to see like my truer skin colour underneath. So I do need to make sure this is locked into place. Next, we're moving on to brows. So obviously I like quite a fluffy, feather-like brow on myself, but for this costume, you need a much heavier, bolder brow. I think the best way to achieve this is a brow pencil or a pomade. I haven't really got anything in the right colour, so what I'm going to do is take my Perfectly Sculpted palette and an angled brush, and I'm just taking this deep dark shade here, and then I'm going to mix it with just a touch of black from the Sorceress palette just to deepen it up a little bit. Now her brows are really straight, so I'm just going to get rid of my arch completely. I'm not going to make them quite as thick as I normally would. I'm just putting the product basically right in the middle of the brow. I'm not extending it too much because obviously I've got quite thick brows. I'm just making them as straight as possible. I'm also going to extend them on the inner as well because this look has some details that runs down the nose. So I want to make sure I've got a good base for connecting these eyebrows to the nose. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Gosh, made me jump, Loki. Because I'm turning into Cruella, isn't it? He's getting scared. Don't worry, Loki, I'm not really Cruella. These brows are taking me back to 2006. Let's move on to some eyeshadow. So I'm taking the Sorceress palette, which I'll be using for the entire look today. And then I'm just dipping into the shade Solstice, and I'm going to do this detail down the nose. So just taking that actually from the eyebrow downwards. Oh, it's off again. You finished? I'm just going to put a touch there in a triangular shape, and I'm just going to blend it downwards onto my nose. Because the shadows are so pigmented, you just need a touch of this and creating this blended out shape here. You can always re-intensify it if you need a little bit more. And what you're trying to do is get like this dark line just at the top here, and you're just blending it downwards so it almost fades into the skin. And then I'm just doing the same on the other side. So marking it out and blending it down. And this is the reason why it's important to get your brows starting in the right place. Because obviously if your brows starting all the way out here, it's going to be much harder to connect. Loki! Hello! What's the matter with you? Have you got the heebie-jeebies today? You just needed a treat. I'm just telling me you needed a treat. Not spoiled at all. First, before I go in with any of the shadow on the lids, I want to make sure that my highlighted areas are popping. So I'm going in with the shade Snow Moon, which is a matte white. And then I'm just going to pop this white underneath my brow. And I'm packing this on with a flat brush because I want it to be like really intense. Because this white is so pigmented, it gives me quite a lot of highlight. I'm also going to pack this on in this inner part here, just lying it flat against where I've put that nose contour. As you can see, this is making my eyes like appear a bit wider. and way more dramatic, which is exactly what you want. So I was looking for a little Dalmatian outfit for Loki, but couldn't find one in his size. I had them for like littler dogs, but not for Loki size, so he was very disappointed. Next, I'm taking the shade Solstice again, and I'm just going to start blending this into my crease, starting at the outer edge and bringing it all the way in, almost creating a cut crease type of shape, pulling that shade upwards until I create almost like a V at this top corner. I do think my foundation's oxidized a little bit, so I could have gone a little bit paler, but we'll make it work. I might have to add a paler powder on top. And I think this makeup is so effective because it's quite smoky and messy on the eyes, but then the lips are super precise. So you want the intensity of your shadows to be here on this outer corner. And I am going to add a little bit of black as well, just to make that even more intense. When you're happy with your shape and you think they're just about even, it's time to move on, and then we're going to create a little bit more intensity using eyeliner and the black shadows. So taking my Infinity Gel eyeliner, the blackest, baddest eyeliner, on a liner brush, and I'm just going to line the top waterline. And I'm also taking this on the bottom waterline as well. This liner will not budge all night, so it's absolutely perfect for this look. Though to be honest, in some of the scenes, the under eye doesn't look, you know, perfectly bright. It's got kind of like a greyish cast to it, like she hasn't been sleeping, like she's a bit manic. So don't worry about your makeup kind of falling down. I think on the eyes, that really adds to the effect. You're right there, Loki. I wish you could see what I could see, just like climbing on top of my makeup bag, like, no more of this. He's like, Mummy, don't become Cruella, no. Loki, that grumpy little face, doesn't take after his mom at all. Sorry, Loki, am I boring you? Is he like, eh? So I'm taking a little bit more of the gel eyeliner just on the top lid as well. It's just going to give a little bit more intensity to the eyes. And then I'm going to blend this. I keep doing the wrong eye really. This one's probably better for you to see. So I'm just taking that gel eyeliner just on the top as well. Doesn't have to be very neat because I am going to go and blend some black shadow into this just to intensify it. But this will just give it a nice base. As you can see, that's just giving it a little bit more pop. So what did everybody think about the new Cruella film? I absolutely loved it. I wasn't expecting to love it so much. I think it's always a massive risk when they redo, you know, not redo, but they add on another kind of story to your beloved classics like 101 Dalmatians. But I think they did it so well. It was just such an amazing twist. I think just all the fashion and the makeup as well really gave it like a different element to it. Emma Stone was absolutely superb. So just going in with the shade Sabbath on a small blending brush. And I'm just gonna lightly sweep that over where I've put that black gel liner, blending it into that grey. And this is a step where you can kind of decide the intensity of the look, because really this is the feature that kind of changes throughout the film. Sometimes it's a little bit darker and a bit moodier, and then other times it's a little bit lighter, and it kind of changes with her mood in the film, which I think is really cool. The makeup artist for this did such a good job of creating the different Cruellas. And just taking the same black shadow Sabbath again, and I'm going to take this on the underneath the eye. Obviously when you're doing this, just make sure to flick off any excess with your brush. It just helps to keep it off your face a little bit. Though because I've powdered with the RCMA powder, I should just be able to sweep any fallout. And I'm just smoking this out underneath the eye. And then I'm just blending that out with a touch of the Solstice again, on quite a fluffy brush, just to soften that and bring it down a touch. So now the shadow's all on, I'm just going in with a little bit more of the RCMA powder. This is just going to make me look a little bit paler. I did feel like that foundation, the Charlotte Tilbury one, oxidized a fair bit. So this is just going to help me look a little bit more pale. And I'm just going to pop that all over the skin. It's just going to give me a little bit more of a even pale tone. I think that looks a lot better. Just going to add some mascara. This is just going to help me put the lashes on. I am going to be adding lashes today. She does definitely have some very subtle falsies on throughout the film. The lashes I'm using today are the Vivienne style lashes from the Jolie Beauty collection, but I've actually cut them in half. So I just want these to sit on the outer corners of my eye. And I'm just putting these on with the Lash Lock glue. These should really enhance the shape that we've created, but they won't overpower the look. If you look at Emma Stone's eye, she's got quite a hooded eye, actually quite similar shape to mine. And if you'd put a big lash here, you would just be covering where you put this white. So it's important to get a nice subtle lash that really accentuates the outer corner of your eye. I think those work really, really well for that. Let's finish off the skin. So of course we want the skin to look pale, but we do want it to look sculpted as well. And that's where the Perfectly Sculpted palette comes into play for this look. I'm going to be using this middle shade, which is a little bit grey tones. And this is going to help me shape my skin and add those Emma Stone cheeks back in. I wish. But it's going to help me with the illusion. I'm just taking this shade on an angled brush. I don't want to add too much of this because I don't want to make myself look too bronzy or anything. So I'll just add a little bit on the temple, and then I'm pushing a little bit back into the cheeks just to add a little bit of dimension back in. And I'm taking a little bit along the chin as well. It's not my husband snoring, it's Loki. Nice. It could be hard to tell.
Oi.
Probably the most important part of this look is the lips, apart from the wig of course. So looking at the photo, you'll see that there is a very, very triangular cupid's bow, and then the lips come out quite wide. Now my lips are quite wide this way, so it's going to be a little bit challenging for me. So I'm planning on blanking my lips out as much as I can and then redrawing the shape. If you've got slightly thinner, wider lips, then this is going to work a lot more easily for you. But for me, it's a bit of a challenge. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my concealer on a sponge. It's like the foundation lips of the 90s are back. Oh dear. And then for lips today, I've been kind of umming and ahhing which shade I'm going to be using, but I think Chili Pepper is the right shade for this look. The shade does kind of change throughout the film. I think it's just depending on what scene she's in. Sometimes it looks a little bit more deep and other times it looks a little bit more vibrant. So I'm going to go in with this shade, and then if I feel like it's looking a little bit too dull, I'm going to add a little bit of the Heat shade on top, which should brighten it up a little bit. How many times she's saying a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. For the lips, I'm going to be using a combination of two brushes. I'm going to be taking my liner brush first of all, and I'm just going to draw out the shape of the lips with this, just so I can get them really accurate. 1 minute he's like kicking over the camera, the next minute he's snoring. Low key. You really want to make sure you're trying to get your lips to look as wide as possible. Don't be afraid to extend into these corners here. So I'm pretty happy with the shape. If there's any bits that you aren't so keen on or you've gone over, I'd recommend just taking a touch of concealer around, and that will really neaten them up. I noticed that on some of the photos you could actually see that the makeup artist had carved out with a lighter concealer around the lip shape to perfect it. For me, I've got like a lot of powder on, so I feel like if I do that, I'm just gonna make a mess, and I'm quite happy with it. So I'm just gonna leave it like this, but yes, if you feel like you wanna perfect it even more, that is definitely an option. So there's only one detail left, but I'm just gonna grab my wig first because you need to look at your wig to check that you're getting this detail correct. So when you're looking at your wig, you need to decide, I'm just gonna put my leg. You need to decide which side is going to be the black side, because on the black side, Cruella has a beauty mark, so we need to put that in. Taking my Infinity liner pen, I'm just going to add the beauty mark in. And I think that's about accurate for where the placement is. It's wig time, so I definitely need a wig cap with this look. This is just going to help all my hair stay out the way. I am definitely not a wig expert by any means. Like, I have little to no experience doing wigs. I've tried to do a few, but I can never quite get the hairline right. This one's quite easy because it's got a fringe, which I find makes it easier with the placement. But the biggest thing is making sure I haven't got any hair like sticking out the back. So let's just try that and see how we get on. This could be a disaster. I don't know if this bit's actually supposed to be there. I'm guessing so. I'm just gonna absolutely wing this, everybody, so don't judge me. Wish me luck. This is my favourite part of the video, trying to get the wig on. Oh, I forgot I'm mirrored, so I need to go the opposite way to what I think. So it needs to get off the back of my hair. Oh, there we go. That felt like a little bit more, it's going in the right place. Oh God, he's here. You're not scared of me? You're not scared of me now I'm Cruella? Oh, he loves his Cruella. He loves his Cruella, don't you? No, is it, Mummy? Something's different about you. I just can't tell what it is. No, what a little sweetheart. See, I'm not a Cruella, am I? I can't be. Not with little Loki around. No, no, no. Cruella. The kindest Cruella. He is a lot happier than he looks, I promise. So this is the final Cruella look. I am obsessed. I think I might have to dye my hair like this for real, because look at me. So I'm like one person, I'm another person. It's just doing all the Gemini things that I wanted to. Split personality, but love it. I am like one of those people that's always dyeing their hair from dark to blonde, so maybe this would be the absolute solution. I can just look one way or then the other. I hope you really enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. I hope you all have a fantabulous Halloween, or shall I say fangtabulous Halloween, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah!